Hello everyone. Let me go over the description of demo problem 2 for you. In this problem, we are going to work with an Amazon review dataset which contains just one CSV file. We are going to parse the CSV file and convert it into a dictionary format in such a way that we are able to take each review and create an individual HTML web page for each review. Then we are going to create a common web page called reviews.html, which is going to contain a list of hyperlinks where each hyperlink is going to take you to one of the review HTML pages. Let me show you the dataset for this particular demo problem. Make sure to download the data directory from Friday's lecture code link. If you click on the data directory, there is one file called review1.csv. We have a lot of details here, including review ID, title, text, rating, and so on. For the purpose of this particular demo problem, we are just going to use the first three fields, but feel free to explore the other fields also if you want to create a more meaningful HTML page representing each review. All right, I'm going to create a CSV to HTML function. So let me go ahead and define that. My first parameter is going to be path to review1.csv and the second parameter is going to be path to reviews.html. Let me call those as CSV path and HTML path. For now, I'm just going to type pass. Let me call the CSV to HTML function, and my first argument here is going to be the path to the CSV file. Notice that we have the CSV file inside the data directory. Instead of hard coding the slash here, I'm going to use the OS module in such a way that my code will work across platforms. Like all of you have been using the os.path.join for P10. I'm also going to import the CSV module because we are going to need that for parsing the CSV file. Let me go ahead and say os.path.join, and I want to pass as arguments data and review1.csv. The next argument is simply going to be reviews.html. I just want to create reviews.html in the local directory. All right, let's go through the steps for this function over here. Step number 1 says create data underscore HTML folder. How can we do that? We need to use os.mkdir. I've already imported the OS module, so I can directly use it. And I can say os.mkdir of data underscore HTML. There is a note here saying make sure to use try except blocks. Why should we do that? That's because when you run mkdir twice, that's going to throw an exception. So I'm going to move os.mkdir into try block, and in my except block I want to catch file exists error exception. What should I do? Pretty much nothing. If the folder already exists, if the directory already exists, we don't have to create it. That's step number 1. Step number 2 says parse review1.csv and convert to dictionary using csv.dictReader function. So let me go ahead and open the CSV file here. I'm going to use my variable as csv underscore f. So I'm going to open CSV path. Let me go ahead and close it right away. What do I want to do with this file object? I want to be able to pass that to CSV dictReader function. So I'm going to pass CSV underscore f as argument. I'm going to capture the return value into a variable called reader. So I'm going to say for row in reader. For now, I'm just going to print row. So let me go ahead and run the code. Notice that we are getting a dictionary for every Amazon review. Let's just try to access review ID, title and text for the purpose of this particular example. So I'm going to extract each of those fields. I'm going to say RID for review ID. So I'm going to say row of review space ID. That's the format in my dictionary key, for my dictionary key. So I'm going to say title equal to row of review title. Then finally I'm going to say text equal to row of review text. All right. What is our next step here? The next step is to generate the review id.html file, and we want to do that inside the data underscore html folder. So let me go ahead and copy paste that over here. So I'm going to have to define a path to my HTML file which I want to create. So I'm going to call that variable as review underscore path, and I'm once again going to use os.path.join function call, and I want to be able to join data underscore HTML with the review id.html, right? So I'm going to say rid.html and I need to concatenate rid with .html. Sorry, what am I thinking? Okay, so rid is a variable. It's going to be of string type. Let me go ahead and confirm that yes, it is of string type. So I don't have to explicitly convert it into a string. All right, we have path to our HTML file over here. I just need to open it now. So I'm going to say HTML underscore F, and I'm going to open review underscore path in write mode because I want to create a brand new file. And I'm going to say HTML underscore F dot close. What do I want to write inside each review file? Let's look at the algorithm over here. I want to add the review title using h1 tag and the review text inside p tag. So let's go ahead and do that. We need to use two write function calls, or you could choose to use just one. I'm actually going to use one so that I can just use the string format function. So let me go ahead and call the write function, and I'm going to use a single string. So I'm going to say h1 for header tag and slash h1. Within that I'm going to use curly braces because I want to use string.format function. Then I'm going to say p for paragraph tag slash p for ending it, and another curly braces within the paragraph tag. And then since this is a string, I can call the dot format method call, and I'm going to pass two arguments, one for the first curly braces placeholder and the second one for the second curly braces placeholder. I'm going to pass title and text inside both of those. All right, that's it for the step number 4 over here. Step number 5 says generate a reviews.html file which has link to each review HTML page. We just created each review HTML page. We need to be careful about the place where we are creating the reviews.html page. That's because we are iterating over every review. Reviews.html page is supposed to contain a link for all the reviews. So which means that I need to create the review.html page outside my for loop, correct? So let me go ahead and create a file called reviews underscore f, and I'm going to open HTML path over here that contains the detail for my review.html. I want to open it in write mode. Let me go ahead and close the file handle right away. inside my for loop, for every review, I want to be able to write the hyperlink for the review.html into my reviews.html file, correct? So I'm going to say reviews underscore f dot write. What do I want to write? I want to write, excuse me, sorry. I want to write a hyperlink tag which is given by A, correct? So I want to say A href, and then I want to say something within here. I'm going to use single quotes instead of using double quotes here. I want to say something over here. Then I want to be able to close the anchor tag, correct? So let me actually switch over the outside quotes to single quotes so that inside I can use double quotes to make it easier for us to understand. Right, fixing all the formatting. All right, there we have it. So what should we say inside these question marks? That should be the review HTML file name, correct? Where is that coming from? That's coming from review path. So I can simply add review path in here. So I'm going to use the format method called one more time. So I'm going to say this dot format, and the first argument is going to be the review path. What else do we have to mention in here? We want to mention the text within the hyperlink tag, correct? So let me first of all close the uh, angle bracket for the open tag. I missed it when I typed out the A tag. What should go in here? Let's add the title of the review. That's really appropriate, right? So let me go ahead and add uh, review ID colon title actually. So let's go ahead and concatenate review ID and a colon, and then following that I'm going to add the title over here. We are not really done with writing every hyperlink in this. We also want to add a line break, otherwise you're just going to get a bunch of hyperlinks which are not properly formatted. So let me go ahead and add the line break. I'm going to do that after my format function over here. So I'm simply going to say br. All right, let's try to run this particular function. Let's see let's see if we are able to produce all the HTML files. I'm going to go back to my original list of folders, and I'm going to check data underscore HTML. Looks like we have a lot of HTML files over here. Let's look at reviews.html. Looks like I have all of the reviews over here. So if I click on one of the reviews, that's going to give me a 403. That's because Jupyter does not allow us to go from one web page to another web page directly. So I'm going to show you how you can access these hyperlinks in a proper way. So I'm going to go to my notebook, and I'm going to show you how you can launch Finder window directly from a terminal. This is my current directory. I can simply say open space dot. That's going to launch the Finder window for me. So let me go ahead and open reviews.html on my browser. Notice the difference between these two rendering. This one is using the Jupyter notebook connection. So you're seeing some IP address and then some port number and then a file name. When I opened reviews.html from my Finder, it shows the path to reviews.html as per my local directory structure. So I'm going to click on the same review. Notice that now we are getting the proper review. This review says amazing sound quality for Alexa. The sound of this little cylinder is incredible. So funny that they're calling Alexa as a little cylinder. I'll tell you one joke about Alexa. I was driving down the road which I take in order to get to my boys' daycare, my sons. I just saw the most funniest road sign about this election, which said, Alexa, please change the president. Hope that wish comes true soon. Right, I'll wrap up this video here. Feel free to explore other options like adding each of these hyperlinks as a list entry and play around with other fields.